Hey guys, Steve Brown from Secondhand Horology. Today I'm going to show you how to polish a watch crystal. If you take a look, we've got a cool vintage Timex diver. It's pretty rough, right? Can't really, it's not terrible, but it's got some scratching on it. Kind of hazy, a little hard to see. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually hit this with a 600 grit sandpaper. So I will do that and I will show you what that looks like in just a moment. Okay, so now as you can see, we've hit it with the 600 grit sandpaper, which is right there. You can tell it started to kind of take on a different look. When your crystal starts to get hazier, don't be afraid. That's not a bad thing. It's just part of the process. Next step, we're going to move on to 1000 grit. So I'm going to hit it with the 1000 and we'll be back. So we've got our trusty G2 P1000, 1000 grit sandpaper. We're going to hit this with it. So just want to show you guys, this is the before the 1000 and I'll show you after. So if you notice it's starting to take on a slightly different kind of texture, I think it's very important to note that if you're going to be sanding something like this with a bezel intact, I typically put my thumb at the edge of the paper so I can feel. So I'm not actually going up and touching the bezel and damaging it, because 9 times out of 10 they're already worn, right? So we don't need to cause further wear. Also notice I'm making sure that I'm polishing in small circles evenly across the dial, not applying too much pressure, right? Nice medium pressure, nice medium pressure. You can also, if you have a crystal puller, which I know not everybody does, I do, but most people don't. Especially if you're just getting into this hobby and you're trying to dress up a watch, you may not have a crystal puller. So if you do have a crystal puller, you can certainly pull your crystal and do all this by hand and not have to worry about damaging the bezel or the watch itself, right? But anyways, here we go. We got the 1000 grit. We're just doing nice small circles around the watch, and that's what she looks like after the 1000 grit. Starting to take on a little bit different haze, right? If you notice right here, this looks like a crack. It's actually a scratch. I can get that out if I go with a deeper sand or a more aggressive grit. It'll actually disappear though when we polish it. To the naked eye, if you take it to the side after it's fully polished, you may still notice it, but it won't be unsightly by any stretch of the imagination. The next step we're going to is 1500. I'll see you in a minute. So now we're back. I've already done the polishing with the 1500 grit. As you can see, it's starting to look a little bit more clear. Again, same thing, small circles, medium pressure, making sure you apply even pressure around the whole entire crystal. Starting to take on a little bit better clarity. There we go, looking good, right? Next step is going to be 2000 grit, so I'll be back after that. So now we've been over it with the 2000. Again, much of the same thing. Polishing, light to medium pressure, small circles, evenly all the way around the crystal. For the next step, generally speaking, what I do just to save time, I use a rotary tool. I will tell you to be cautious using a rotary tool because in the very beginning, if you're not experienced, you may find that you're using way too much polish and you make a huge mess, or you may find that you are burning the crystal because you're using too much speed, right? So I'm going to go ahead and move on to hand polishing. Oh, Jesus Christ. So here we are. We've got the 2000 grit. I've already been over the watch with it, but I'm just going to show you again. We're going to just continue to use medium pressure, going around in small circles, using the thumb as a guide so we don't cause any further deterioration to that bezel. As you'll notice, it's starting to take on a completely different look to it. 2000 grit is very important. You can go higher than that. In fact, I'm going to use this little sanding pad that is a 3000 grit. You don't have to do that at home. You'll get very nice results with 2000, but we're not done yet, guys. So that's the thing to remember. We're not done yet. So I'm just going to hit this really lightly, just real lightly with the 3000. And a lot of times I use a rotary tool. If you don't have one, you don't need one. I just find it's faster, and I'm very used to using it. I've done thousands of crystals with it. But you can hand polish it, and I'm going to show you how to do that to really bring out that luster and shine. Okay, guys? So next stage, we're going to just hand polish this out with some proper polish, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. We're going to go on to the final stage. If you notice, it's already looking significantly better. What I typically use is this. I use Turtle Wax Headlight Lens Repair and Renew. There's a million different products out there you can use. Meguiar's makes one. Mother's makes one. There's a couple of watch industry folks that make one. I think it's called polycrystal or something of that nature. They all work pretty much the same way. So I'm going to shake this up. I've already shaken it. I'm going to apply a very, very, very small amount to the crystal. Just a couple of dots. I'm going to use a clean, it actually is clean, but it's stained. It's a clean microfiber cloth. And I'm just going to start working it in gently, all the way around the crystal. Now, I'm going to use a little bit more pressure in this stage of it. But again, being very mindful not to damage the crystal, right? You don't want to manhandle this thing and apply brute force and damage the crystal, because you can crack them, especially after you've sanded them, because you actually took off a very small amount of the density of the crystal itself. So guys, here we go. The simple polish here. And there we have it. There's the finished product. Looking good. So in about 5 to 10 minutes, you can take a scratched crystal and you can make it pretty. And it saves you money, saves you time. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.